Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Draft. Let's do the NBA draft, dude. Okay. I said winners or losers. Did you come up with a couple?
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. Let's start with that. Let's just do winners and losers. Give me a winner that you have.
Um, I really like. I'm a big Caleb Wilson guy. The Bulls got him at 4. Him, the team they're building. They also got Swain, who's kind of like a Josh Giddey replacement, not a great shooter. They're going to struggle with shooting again, which could hurt Caleb Wilson. But I think he's just one of those guys that has that like insane upside defensively, and he could grow into something offensively. And I think, dude, you just take a shot on that guy and you put like a center with him, like you just said with Claxton. And if you can kind of bring some of that together with Buzelis, maybe the Bulls can, in the next couple of years get something cooking.
Yeah, and you forgot to mention Patrick Williams. Yeah, no, I really like that pick too. I put it as a winner of the top 4 picks. It seemed like you couldn't really go wrong with any of the picks. I mean, the one big one is Peterson, right? That everybody was worried about. But I think his attitude after he was drafted, the way he responded, I don't know if you saw the video of him watching like the fan base reacting to him being drafted and how excited how touched he seemed to be. I think he'll be fine. I think he just didn't want to play college basketball. If I had to guess why he was so up and down in his college career, I imagine he just didn't want to play college basketball. But whether it's AJ, Boozer going to Memphis, which will again help that team's culture. I just really like the first 4 picks, and it doesn't seem like you could really go wrong with who you pick. So I think it's a win for all those teams.
Yep, and I think it pretty much went in the order that I would have took them in as those teams.
Yeah, agreed. Another winner for you?
I think Lendenborg to the Warriors. I think he's just one of those like more pro ready. Yeah, Axel Lendenborg.
Yeah,
I just think
Axel.
he just he's the type of guy that the Warriors need to draft for that system, and where they kind of made a mistake when they took Moody and those other guys they whiffed on a few years ago, was those guys were more like projects and not like NBA ready. And the Warriors, as we talked about, like the Bucks aren't like, hey, let's develop these guys. It's like, we got a system, we're trying to win. I wasn't high on him as a player because I think he's like not overly athletic, and that kind of like doesn't fly in today's game. But I think if you go to a team like this where you have a Draymond Green that can teach you all the devilish tricks of the trade, and you can have shooting around you, I think he wins going to that spot.
Okay. I actually had him as a loser. And the only reason why is just the Warriors' track record for development has been awful. And I don't think people talk about this enough. Like Moody has hit this ceiling. Like everyone thought he would be this really good player, and he's just like not gotten better. Like after his Pod's the same way. He had like a good rookie year, and it's just like he plateaued. We saw it with the Wiseman, Kuminga. It just seems like once they got the system set around Steph Curry, there's no adaptability with the rest of the talent around him. It's got to be ran this certain way. And I like it for the Warriors almost more for him versus for him, because I just don't color me a skeptic. I just don't trust their development right now with what they've done with the rookies.
Yeah, I think it's a totally valid point. And the only reason I put him in there because I don't think he has like a lot of upside.
Okay.
I think he's kind of like who he is. And the Warriors viewed it as like, all right, this is what he can do. We don't have to like build this dude's game. You could be right though. They could be like, we need to see more from you. And then you're like, well, I could use a little development coaching here. And they're like, nope, you got to run the system, pass the ball and run.
Yeah. We'll see how that goes. I have Wagler. For the Clippers. I have them winning as winners. I think 6'6" guard. He'll play pretty good next to Darius Garland. Like one thing you're worried about when you run a two guard system is being too small. Him being 6'6", him being able to do what he can do, I think he'll be good on the Clippers. So I do like that. And you can keep him kind of like starting if you want, but also like slowly give him the keys instead of like just throwing the keys at him because you have Garland that can ease him into it.
Yeah, he was my pipe dream of somehow falling to 10 because I think he is that I don't want to say that he's like Luca, but he has like that slower paced Shea Luca type of
Yeah.
game where they're not
Yeah.
like blowing past you, but they kind of get to their spots and know what to do.
Yeah. Another winner?
Oh, the Sixers, Phylon. I thought he
Okay.
was going to go sooner. I text you. He was one of the guys kind of on my list that I kind of like was intrigued by. And as he was falling, I'm like, can we just what can we do to get back in? But the Bucks do have a lot of guards or whatever. But he kind of like late came on, and some of the stuff I was reading about him, or I should say listening to, because that's what I did driving, was like intriguing. He fell to 22, and it sounds like that's the Sixers wanted him last year, and they got him this year.
Yeah, that's crazy. So they basically traded him for McCain, right? Like that's how,
Yep.
I put that kind of as a winner loser. I did have that written down just because you have Maxi and you have VJ, so now you have this other guard. He's 6'4", so he is a bigger guard, but it's like you're still going to be in small lineups if you end up playing those three together. So I don't know entirely what their goal is for the future down the road with him. Maybe Maxi or VJ. I'm not quite sure, but I just think it's a weird fit, but I do like the talent that fell to the Sixers.
Yeah, and I wonder if they're semi preparing for Quentin Grimes to maybe get more money than they want to pay.
That's fair. That's fair. Acuff, to the Kings. I think the Kings really wanted him, so I gave
Yeah,
them a winner. That was their guy the entire time, and they didn't have to move up for him. So you get your guy, you get a winner for me.
yeah. I put him down as a loser
That's
because
fair.
this was the one guy of all of these guys that that was rumored to the Bucks that I was like, I will gouge my eyes out. Like, I get why I get why the Kings want him. Like they this dude can score the ball. This dude can
Hmm.
shoot the ball. I don't know if I sent you the video. My son was kind of like, "Oh, Acuff," and there's like a video of him, and he was doing an interview, like a podcast interview, and they were like, "Well, you're not known for your defense, and his defense is like some of the most atrocious you will ever see." And he was like, "Well, I'm a point guard, so I guard a point guard. If you're asking me to switch on to a small forward, I'm not a small forward, so I don't need to guard a small forward." And I was like, "Dude, if I was in the scouting office, I'd be like, next, we're done. I want no part of this dude." I just think he's one of those, like, he might win rookie of the year because I think he's going to put up stats, but I just think he's like going to be the next like empty calorie, put up big numbers on a bad team, and then if they want to try to be good and try to contain him, it's like the cat's out of the bag.
Yeah. So what you're saying is the Kings might have won because they got their guy, but be careful what you wish for type thing.
I think they'll win the PR thing, and he'll put up numbers. And it's gonna, at the end of next year, they're gonna be like, Darius Acuff averaged 22. It's like amazing. From that aspect, I just don't think he can be like a winning player.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Um, Last winner I have is OKC. Written down Ben Sturts. I was big on him. I was hoping he'd fall to the Pistons, kind of a 6'4" guard. And then they got Mara. He kind of dropped a little bit, right? He was going to go in the top 10. People thought he dropped to 12. I don't know what to think of him. He can shoot. He's not like slow and like normal 7'3" guys. He can move pretty good. He set a blocks record for Michigan. He's a good passer. And I just think like OKC is just like doubling down on everything that they've done so good. So I thought it was definitely a draft that you could see OKC doing. It's a win for me.
Yeah, I do like Sturts. I did like that pick for them. Mara, like I text you, I was like, Like, did they just draft a third string
Yeah.
center? Are they saying they're getting rid of no, I totally just like
Harkenstein?
Yeah, Hartenstein. Like, I don't think so. So, like, I hope this just isn't like we need another giant to try to cover the giant we have to play, because he's a little thin. So is Wemby, though, but Wemby moves much more fluid than this guy. So I get it when you're going for size, but I don't know. The last few years, OKC has kind of whiffed on their drafts, like low key. We kind of forget that they drafted Topic, and I know he had injuries, but like they're probably going to dump him. They drafted Sarver last year, and like I think they're about to just cut loose on him because of tax money. I don't know. We've had this when we talked about Edie, who's the Blazers guy, like
Klingen.
Like they do some things, but you're like, if you're just trying to draft a dude to be like, hey, we have Wemby in our conference, like breaking news, Wemby is like 1 of 1, and
Right.
he does things that, and like, Klingen, he didn't really do anything to stop Wemby. Like the only guy that did anything was Cat, and that's because he can shoot the heck out of the ball and he moves.
And he's thick.
And he's solid, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's a win, maybe it's a loss. I'm not a big fan of like these giant guys that are just kind of like niche guys. I just think you'd be better off to play Mitchell Robinson, who does one extraordinary thing, like getting offensive rebounds, opposed to like maybe this guy could do something.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. I do kind of like the idea of him working out somehow, but but we'll see what happens. Any other winners for you?
No.
Okay, let's go losers. Give me a loser.
I'm gonna make a generalization, and I think between Brown, Acuff, and Flemings, I think we're gonna look back and be like small guards.
Like, we're gonna go back to that thing.
Yeah, just like I know there's that whole thing with like Jalen Brunson, and I think, look, I mean, Jalen Brunson is obviously an exception to a rule,
right?
But again, Jalen Brunson is small, but he's thick.
Yeah,
like especially on offense, he doesn't rely on a finesse game. He like bumps you around and gets physical, but they struggle defensively with him, and the Knicks are built probably unlike any other to try to hide him.
Right.
So I think that kind of hides some of this, but some of these dudes that are like really thin and kind of just fly around, like Brown isn't an awesome shooter. Acuff is a terrible defender. Flemings too. Like he can kind of do some things. I think we're just going to look back and be like, man, these guys like didn't quite reach the top because the NBA has kind of went to more bully ball.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I would say like if we learned anything from the Brunson, and obviously Brunson's a 1-on-1, but there's a certain type of way you got to build around these guys. So it's really just a matter of how these guys build around him, right? Like them and how important that player is to the franchise. Like, for example, Tyrese Maxey, he's a smaller guard, right? Like if you put him next to someone like Cade Cunningham, or like a big guy or Luka or something like that, they could win a title, because I don't know if you're the main guy and you don't have a team built like the Knicks, which is really hard to do, by the way. I don't know if it's going to be possible, but I agree with you. I just think we got to see how it all plays out, but it's going to be a fascinating case study for sure.
Yeah. And that's why, like, I think, okay, maybe Flemings can pull something out, because the Hawks are obviously the best team in this range.
Right.
But, like you're thinking of like, okay, Michael Brown, I think he's going to put up numbers, but you're like, by the time you're good, you're with the Nets.
Right.
And I think I hate to be the, like, we've talked about this before, like, oh, well, obviously if he was in a better situation, he would look better. But I just, like, when you have these high picks and you're like trying to envision it, like if we're in a playoff series next week, like where does this guy fit in? Mm-hmm. And you're like, well, we need this, and this. And you're like, well, that's a lot to ask for our guard. Whereas, like Cooper Flagg, like, what do you need? Cooper Flag, and we can do a whole lot of other things. And I
Right.
know he's like a one of one, but even if you think of like Cameron Boozer, you're like, okay, cool. He's really good at these things. We can build out around it. Or the Banstill, like these bigger guys, I think are
Well,
slightly
even like
easier.
Wagler, right? Like, he's 6'6", so he's a bigger guard. Like that's kind of what the NBA is becoming. But we're seeing a little bit of a shift. We'll see how it works out. But I'm with you. It's kind of like I did write down specifically the Nets pick Brown because of his back injuries. I'm like,
Yep.
dude was telling the interviewer yesterday, like it was painful to even get out of bed or whatever. And I'm just like, you already have Michael Porter Jr. What are you guys doing? So I put them down as a loser because they've drafted the one guy that had back problems. So they're part of that as well. Um, Draft coverage I have as a loser. I don't like two things. Number one, I don't care about the family interviews and stuff like that. Okay. I understand like there are like my wife was watching it with me and she liked the interview stuff. So I understand the demographic they're appealing to. Could we have two different coverages? One where it has all the interviews and some where it's like actually breaking down how this guy's going to fit in with the team. Could we do that? Because I do not like I don't need that in my basketball coverage.
I couldn't agree more.
Okay.
I just think the advantage the NFL draft has, it's like 15 minutes a pick, and we're all fine, like tuning in and out for like 5 hours to watch the first
Right.
round.
Right.
This is one where I think Bill Simmons is probably right, where you just make one night the lottery
Yeah.
and then the rest of the draft the next night if you're going to break it up. Because I do think if you put 10 minutes in between this, whether there's a trade or not, you could then not have teams putting on, like Nate Ament putting on a Heat hat and then
Well,
late,
that's the other
five
thing.
minutes
Yeah.
later, right? 5 minutes later, he has his Bucks hat on and they're like, there's a potential trade. But I think you're right. Like the NBA just assumes like all of its fans just like binge college basketball or podcasts and just know about all these guys. And then when they get drafted, they expect you to be like, oh, yeah, AJ DeBansta, you should know everything you already know. And you're like, well, breaking news, even NFL fans, like most of us are like, hey, like, tell me how he fits. Tell
Yeah.
me what he's good at. And instead we do the, oh, this was his combine. And then we go to a quick interview with him, which is fine. And then he's sitting in a fake living room with his family. And you're like, what is it like to be here? Like, I don't know. What do you think it's like to be the first pick? We would all be ecstatic. I don't know what you want these guys to say. So you're right. If you want to just do a quick interview and then spend like 5 minutes breaking down dude's tape and how he could fit with Trae Young, cool. But instead, you're right. Like we do all this, and then they're like, and here comes Adam Silver with the second pick.
Well, right, and the thing is when you do the introductory press conference and stuff like that, they meet with the media after the draft. It's like you get all those questions anyway, so it's like I don't need that. What's it like in this moment? Well, it's awful. I didn't really want to get drafted. Playing the NBA
Yeah.
sounds hard. Like what do you expect them to say? You know what I'm saying? Like they're all excited. They're all happy to be drafted. Mom and dad are going to be happy that they're drafted. So I just think it's a little weird. And then the hat thing. Can we fix that? Like I don't understand why we're still in a world where a trade happens and like when a Corey was drafted and he went from like OKC to Memphis to Detroit and he's wearing the OKC hat. It's like that's two teams ago. It's like the dude doesn't even know who drafted him really, and it's just like can't we just fix that? Like it's kind of annoying. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Again, just do the draft like we're all morons
Yes.
so
Yes.
that we can be like, so you don't have to see or you don't have to explain to your wife or husband that Nate Ament goes on stage with a Heat hat, but then they're like, who were you on the phone with? And they're like, I was on the phone with the Buck staff. And then you'd be like, wait, why is he on the phone with the Buck staff? Be like, well, actually, there's this trade, but it can't happen until July 6th. We have technology, dude. I think someone in the back office could clear three second round picks to go from 21 to 17 and just push a button and the logo changes on the screen and Adam Silver can turn around and be like, the Detroit Pistons are selecting.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's also kind of dumb because like, in NBA, the history of the NBA now, it's going to be like, oh, Memphis Grizzlies actually drafted this guy. It's like, No, he was drafted by the Pistons and then traded he was technically drafted by the Pistons. So anyway.
It's like when you go back and look and Dirk Nowitzki was drafted by the Bucks, even though that was worked out like well before. Where you're like, the Bucks had Dirk, and you're like, well, if you weren't alive back then, I don't know how to explain this to you. Besides, this was like worked out long before the draft.
Kobe was a Hornet? What?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other losers?
No, I don't. I think these guys are, they are what they are. I guess the only loser I would say is maybe it's because I spent way too much time listening to stuff this year. Is like maybe this draft class isn't like as awesome as we built it up to be going into it. The more I listened to stuff, and again, it could be recency bias, more I was like, are we sure this is like an all-time draft? Like maybe, again, once these guys play, you can prove it wrong. And maybe because the NBA is going to be more competitive, we'll see that more. And that's what will come of this. But like some of the weaknesses of these guys, and you're like, and he like Michael Brown, you're like, so he can't shoot, but he's awesome. Like, okay, like, can we fill in the gaps? I think maybe I was too deep into the weeds, but part of me was like, maybe this isn't such an awesome draft class.
Well, don't you think it's like the NBA, the media and all that stuff try really hard with this narrative, like we can't be negative towards,
yeah.
And it's
Players,
they almost
yeah.
It's almost gotten to the point where it's like I don't trust what you're telling me all the time now. So I think that's part of it. I was listening to Ryan Russillo talk to Jay Billis about that, and it was like, well, this is where I soften on that stance a little bit. It's like, well, either the guy can shoot or can't. Well, he's not a bad shooter, but it's something you'll have to work on, or he stinks at shooting one or the other.
He shot 32%. I hate to tell you, that's not good.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, last loser I had is just the first round draft picks being traded. There was a lot of noise that first round picks are going to get traded. Like Trey Murphy might be going to the Warriors or the Thunder or whatever, and all these. Nothing. I just think it's going to be a little bit before we start seeing like first round picks being traded all willy nilly like that again, because people value the rookie, contracts, the control you have over it, and on top of it with the draft lottery changes. So it was kind of like a boring first round, all things considered. Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.